You should be going.
Pingus, Pingus, friends!
Is that two of you do that at the same fucking time? What the hell happened?
Yep.
Oh, God. Jesus.
Last time on Currents of War, we had a nice, fun, light meeting with the Grumboog in his stronghold, where we got a whole bunch of cool weapons and stuff, and nothing bad ever happened forever. We continue where we left off there, as a fun birthday party was had with the Grumboog, and he's lying on the ground. Oh, he's all tuckered. I'm kidding, he was murdered.
He's dead as hell.
So, as they say in the parlance of our times, well, that happened.
It sure fucking did.
Alright, I'm bringing Silly String for that. Well,
Sprayed
sure hotel
TT
hotel.
like Mothra sprayed Godzilla.
We'd all have to have Silly String and just spray it over him gently, over them.
So since we did end abruptly last time after driving off the Red Caps and watching the Grumboog die and declare someone his successor, it's probably best if we have ourselves a nice little interlude to sort of recover from what just happened.
I can't believe he named Flavian the successor. Very
I
off
know,
brand.
right?
Weird, he's not even a goblin.
It was strange.
Yeah. Very progressive.
Yeah,
It's a weird choice.
I didn't even talk to him yet.
Yeah, what can I say? It was just destiny.
I'm putting this off because this is going to be emotional for Deck.
I guess now that Duck, like, how are all the goblins like reacting to old Grumboog?
It is roughly what you would imagine if a beloved local leader was suddenly assassinated in front of everyone, while everyone was trying to fend off an assault by a bunch of undead monsters. You know, that very often happens in real life, and there's a very easy frame of reference we all have for people, like, you know, as boogeymen, you know, leave from the houses as the threat is over, and the warriors that survived watch, you know, all of them. You guys saved everybody. Well, almost everybody. As they look on as their big, you know, chieftain is slain. There's fear, of course. There's panic, you know, amongst the group, but it is mostly smothered by grief. And the Grumboog wasn't just a leader; he was a beloved leader. And while right now there is anxiety about the future, more than that, there is sadness at what has been lost. You know, some of the more stronger soldiers, the ones who have been here longer, lift up the body and carry it off to be properly prepared for burial. And
So,
people chatter. There is in the crowd, one of them is a youngish orc who watches the display, but more than that, watches all of you, having been so close and, you know, basically fighting alongside and defending the Grumboog while this happened. So, you know, it's heavy, I guess, is the feeling right now. It's kind of, things are kind of heavy now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say. Yeah. Duck, after, you know, she's clearly in shock before she, you know, when Grumboog starts getting picked up and carried away, she'll hop to her new iron feet and since she's been here, you know, she lived here for a while or a little bit. Does she know who, like, the major domo for lack of a better term, would be. You know, like the person who handled the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, you know who a lot of the Grumboog's advisors are. There isn't like a viceroy or whatever, like a secretary. The Grumboog did handle a lot of things himself, which at the time you viewed as part of his control freak nature, but now you realize may have just been him not wanting to shirk off responsibility.
I just realized. Sorry, I was like, oh, so he doesn't have like a worm tongue. Then I realized for a goblin leader, Grima Wormtongue sounds like a respectable vizier name.
It really does.
Because he says such sweet things to you. Worms are delicious.
And Grima sounds like a goblin name because it's like Grima, like grime.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Just a moment of
No,
levity to diffuse the
So,
tragedy.
yeah, Deck would go talk to whoever and like warn them that while she doesn't think he's in danger of turning because there was no dealing of the blood, or exchange of blood. I think that's how the red caps work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
redcaps have to bite you to turn you into one of them.
Yeah, and there was a poison dagger, right?
I don't think they have to do the whole vampire baptism thing that like Moroi and Strugoi have to go through. I think they're probably more on just you get bit, you're turned. But they didn't bite him. They stabbed him with a poison dagger.
Yeah. So Deck would still warn them. It's like, who knows what kind of curse. Be careful of the knife when removing it. Who knows what kind of curse they might have put on it, that kind of thing. Since it killed him with a single stab wound, that was some kind of potent venom.
Yep. They nod. The body is handled very carefully, as per your suggestions. And it is put into a casket with cloves of garlic to ward off vampires, as well as copper horseshoes to counteract any potential negative curse.
Deck's kind of putting it off, but she would kind of go like, "What are the rest of you doing?" So, like,
the rest of you doing?
I would like to think Reed has not left your side. He wants to provide some measure of stability.
Grugan is letting you do your stuff. You have to get used to it on your own, is what he thinks. But he is like standing to the side with his arms crossed, and he's like staring at that young orc. He's giving him plenty of chances to come over here.
Is it the same one that had beef with Grugan?
Yep.
So she nods to you, Reed, and then kind of like seeing that Grugan's being aloof and in a mood that she hasn't really seen him in, she's gonna gesture for Art to come over. Like, Art, you're good with talking with people, She kind of looks at the crowd. I got no clue what to say, man.
I
feel like
the heart. You're a goblin. They're goblins. Just tell them how it is.
Yeah, he's right on that one, boss. Like, I mean this as kind as I can. He was a respected leader, very kind, cared for his people. Good things to bring up in a speech. That you hope you can fulfill the same roles of the community by both helping defend it and care for it and maintain it for a prosperous future. I did not steal that from a pompous man who's probably dead now.
Yeah, the good advice that I might, as Reed said, goblin it up.
Oh yeah, goblin it up, of course, but those are the kind of points you want to come over. We're a community in mourning, but we are a community that will move together into the future kindly. Together.
You just gotta make it clear that you want to help them.
Right. Oh boy. So, Duck will step up, kind of like, I guess, to the steps of the House of the Grumboog,
Mm-hmm.
and try to get people's attention. You know, she's not exactly the tallest goblin around.
You could sit on my shoulders.
Art will pick up.
Eyes very much are on you because it did not go unnoticed that the Grumboog had words with you before the end, and also you brought
wearing
in
the
these
boots.
group of strangers, and all under your leadership, they won all of the big, powerful artifacts that the Grumboog has been collecting. You know, it's clear that you are people of import.
Especially after I ran away from a crime.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Duck will step up and just be like, you know, I think I should have prepared for this in the 2 weeks since it was the last game. But,
Well, I mean, it's method acting.
yeah. So, nothing acting. She goes up and she's just like, it's kind of like unable to like really meet any of the gaze from anyone in the crowd. She kind of looks down at the vampire bloody boots that she's wearing, the iron shoes, and then look up and go, the Grumboog is dead. But we are all alive thanks to him. I was an exile from Fairyland, and he took me in when I had nothing. Just as I'm sure that's the story for many of you or your ancestors who came here. But she's kind of fumbling.
The audience looks patient. Not expectant, but they're willing to give you your time.
When I first came here, I was angry, bitter, and I lashed out. Cursed and exiled, I had a lot of pain, and he saw that. And he tried to do his best, I see now, to extend a hand where I had nothing. And I repaid him by trying to steal these. I'm sure some of you remember that. She kind of gestures to the boots.
There's a couple who smile at the mischief of that admission.
And I left before I could be punished or reprimanded. Whatever he had planned. I don't regret what I did. Maybe I regret not speaking to him more. But I am proud now to be here after traveling with my friends, these wonderful warriors. Even a human, 2 humans, getting lost in the details. These people who had no reason to join us to help the goblin kind have been traveling with me since Skullcrack was burned to the ground, helping us travel and gather up those who would resist these goblin slayers. And sorry, out of character. I'm stumbling.
No, I think you're doing great.
She goes, and among not only the goblin slayers, but as you saw, the redcaps, they have been trying to take advantage of this war. This fucking war. They call it a war when it is nothing but savagery. Humans consider themselves so noble and proud, and yet the redcaps are trying to take advantage. They wish our blood to be theirs, but they wish it to be willing. When they knew the Grumboog would never submit, never willingly give you all up to them to become one more just mindless shell within that ocean of blood. And that is why he killed him. That is why they killed him. Something that they did in Nain Rouge. They killed the king of Nain Rouge. Made him one of their own. And Duck will pull out the bloodstone that she stole from the king and kind of hold it up. And she goes, Rawhead knows us. He fears us. That is why they killed the Grumboog, because they know their secrets will no longer work. Just as the Goblin Slayer army is doomed because of all of us. And I don't mean just my friends, I mean us. And she gestures to the group, to the surroundings.
Yes. Yeah, we gotcha.
If you're trying to react, CTM, sorry if I'm cutting you out.
No, you're fine. I'm trying not to break your flow.
She goes, I don't know where I'm going with this. She kind of mutters to herself.
And yet they seem to be watching and with encouraging looks in their expressions.
Yeah,
they are to some extent rallied already.
When I came back, I expected to be in trouble. I didn't think I'd be thrown into prison or anything or shackled with iron. But to see you all welcome me back like this, to see him welcome me back like this, I was thrown for a loop. I didn't know how to react. And then seeing him bleeding out and tell me that I am now the Grumboog. I don't think I'm ready for that, but I hope someday I will be.
As you say that, one of the more grizzled and old goblin warriors steps forward and takes a knee and says, Grumboog, what should we do to prepare? Who should we reach out to?
Well, the good news is we have crossed the Morrigal, walking the Treadscar path, gathering our allies. We have many that are waiting for us to call, and I think we are going to gather here before we march to Lutetia. I must go with my friends and continue to gather those of us from Fairyland who will stand against this act of genocide and barbarity, both from the humans and the undead. But I realize this is the home I should have come back to.
They all nod. Yes.
Oh no, sorry. I would go ahead.
They all nod. One of the big warriors comes and claps you on the back and says, "Well spoken! The old Grumboog would not have wanted us to stay in grief. Let us eat. Let us make merry if we can. And tomorrow we shall work to reach out to our friends from across the Morrigal. To continue forging these connections that Grumboog Duck has already made for us. The Scourge has struck a mighty blow, but we are not defeated." And then, he takes your arm and raises it, and several of the other warriors, raise their arms in raucous salute, and soon the entire crowd is, giving out goblin war cries and croaking and ribbiting, with renewed confidence and camaraderie.
Well, and Duck will just kind of I guess she's standing on. God damn it, a riveting speech. Yeah, she's standing there and she goes, "For the Grumboog and everyone who has been stolen by these wars. May this be the last." So,
And
Jack
they
will-
cheer, and to some extent, hope is restored to the stronghold of the Grumboog. And the grizzled goblin warrior that grabbed your arm and helped you finish your speech turns to you and says, "Good job, Grumboog.
don't
You
call
make
me
him
Duck,
proud."
please. I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we all have some stuff to discuss, and Duck will gotta go bring the advisors, the war advisors, up to speed on, our connections we've made, like Fort Morag and the Troll
Mhm.
Village and the Colette Flock Island,
Mhm.
the group there. I'm trying to remember what the other groups
Banshee
are.
Town.
Banshee Town.
Banshee Town. Yeah, here I'll get back to the main map. You have gone to almost every fair folk settlement you know of, and some that you had to discover. You've been to Skullcrack, which is gone. You've been to Fort Morago, the Troll Village, the Coulette Flock Goblin Town, the Banshee Town, Nain
Nain
Rouge, Stronghold of
Oh,
Grumbouche. The only ones that you haven't so far is the mist that might be in the mountains, Betele Belle, and Castle Peridot.
Yep.
Which the survivors of Skullcrack may have gone to.
Mm-hmm. Well, not even which they may have. That's definitely where they went to.
Yeah. Well, we
But Castle
started around
Peridot is also specifically in Fairyland. Like once you go that deep into the woods, you cross through the liminal space between the mortal plane and Fairyland. So Castle Peridot leads to Fairyland, and thus has a lot of ways well far away from Amoragol to get to.
And that's why neither me or Duck wanted to go there.
Yep.
Yeah. Plus, there's a lot of lions in the forest, and Duck feels like, big cats like to eat ducks and frogs, so I'm going to stay out of the woods as much as I
Yep.
can.
There were a lot of lions that were man-eaters in the forests of Arden.
Didn't the chief of Skullcrack have like a lion pelt?
I think so, yes. Look at his sprite.
He was a hulking motherfucker, so I wouldn't
Yep.
be surprised.
Yeah, I know that like one of his pauldrons was part of an ogre skull.
Yeah, it's just like a skull as big as his torso.
Yeah, both of his pauldrons were, that's right. He didn't have a lion pelt, but he did have a magnificent mane of hair.
But yeah, sorry, I started to get a little emotional there because I'm not good with public speaking, even when I'm not in public.
I won't force you to do it again, probably.
No, it's fine. Normally, I'm fine with that. I DM fine, but this was an emotional moment for Duck, and
It was method act.
It's like Jake the dog says. I was playing around with my imagination, and things got a little too real.
But we survived.
We survived.
So yeah. There's any other business we'd like to clean up in the Stronghold of Grumboog, and then we could do an interlude, forge some bonds, replenish some IP and MP and HP, and then go on to the meat of our session.
I actually brought up Duck's character sheet to see what my MP was like after the fight because I was tempted to do like a comment as just like a demonstration, but nope.
Mm-hmm.
Because it takes like 2/3 of Duck's MP to cast that thing.
mostly Grugan is just standing there in a corner waiting to see if that young orc is going to actually approach him and say something.
You tell he clearly wants to, but you know, also there's a lot of emotions flickering in those porcine features at the moment.
So, Duck also kind of wanted to. She feels a little awkward with it, but before she would go to the advisor, she would kind of like do the whole like after a speech thing of like talk, like shake a few hands, say some encouraging words with people she might have known while there.
Mhm.
And while doing that, she would go to this orc and go, "Stop staring daggers and go talk to him. That's an order from your new Grumboog, my first order." And then she waddles off.
Come over here, motherfucker.
I will have no awkwardness in this camp.
The orc doesn't say anything to you, but looks like they first want to say something curt. But you are the new leader of this town, and so he heaves a sigh and trots over to Grugan.
Alright,
You don't remember me, do you?
not particularly, no.
But I remember you. I was so proud when you told me I would be put to a battalion to go do a raid on the humans. I remember you there, second to that thing. I remember how it was nothing like they told me it would be. There was no glory, there was no honor, there was just carnage. People dying in their own blood, and you butchering those humans. The fact that you can stand here and be
You are-
lauded as a hero.
You are cutting out so
Oh.
much, I can't actually hear what you're saying.
Oh, sorry, I'm being. Oh, shit. I'm being so dramatic with the microphones, like, fuck up. To recap, he's basically, described that, he was a young orc. It was his first time on a battalion. He was so excited to prove himself as a warrior, as he fought alongside you and that creature that you worked under. And then the reality of it's
Sinking, yeah.
that there was no honor or glory there was just carnage. And then he looked at you, the great orc leading the battalion, butchering the humans that they had been sent to go attack like animals. And he looks at you and is like, and to see you lauded now as a hero, they can buy it. I don't. I know what you...
Do you?
Man, this guy has a high horse.
Do you truly know what I am? Do you think I had any choice to do those things? Do you
Yes.
suppose I have a family in Fairyland that would not be there if I said no ever?
Could have run.
I did.
You clearly did.
I did indeed. Do you want to know why?
Yeah. What finally turned your stomach?
He's gonna point at the nursery. Imagine that burning. Imagine being told to burn it. Now imagine it being women and children. An entire village full of nothing but women and children. And expecting to be happy to be given that order.
He looks at you as you admit this, and like you can see that he wants to continue hating you, but he sees something in your face that makes him soften.
I don't know what kicked me out of that bloodlust, but I swore never to use it again. I will not take part in such things anymore. That is why I am trying so hard to stop this bullshit. All it's good for is to paint the ground red.
The orc turns his gaze down, nods ever so slightly. See that it ends. But you are a hero. And with that, he turns and walks off, no longer shooting daggers with his gaze.
Before he gets out of earshot, he's gonna say, "You're more a hero than I am. You saw it the first blush."
He stops and looks back at you, trying to see whether that's a sincere statement. And when he says, it clearly shakes something in him, and he walks off slightly faster than he started. Not how V expected that confrontation to go.
Good. Also, he didn't look around to see if anybody was listening to that.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, the goblin saw two orcs talking and figured they should get out of that business.
But yeah, that is why I will not use any Fury levels. Or not Fury, Darkblade.
Darkblade, yeah.
It's gonna remain unconfirmed, Monshare. I'm not gonna confirm that or deny it.
Chat, just so you know, Shady just typed in the in-game chat, Grugan having fucked, still unconfirmed. But with your help, this can change.
I mean, you don't need to have any more encouragement.
And yet I'm giving it all the same.
That's
All
fair.
the same. Yeah.
What's Maple's friend called? Summer? Autumn?
Autumn.
Shady's
is Autumn. What the fuck am I doing?
I am confused.
Liz.
Yeah.
I got them mixed up.
It's Liz.
Wait, I shouldn't call people out. Yeah, I shouldn't call people out on YouTube. Oh, who the fuck is? It's Shy Daisy. All right.
You call yourself
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Well, yeah, but I consent to that, unfortunately.
See, the difference between Liz and Autumn is Autumn prefers crazy older men.
There's nothing I can say to call myself out that's worse than the things I just do on YouTube.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Batman. To this day, all we
All
have
right.
to do is go, Batman!
So Albatross
belong in
TT.
Oh, don't you mean my penguin?
After that, to stop this conversation going any further, after that, Grugan will just kind of watch the younger orc walk away, and then go find somewhere to stand and like kind of just be by himself.
There. Very.
I'm gonna go over here, actually, where I can sit between these two buildings and watch where all the children are. Might
Flavia and
notice...
several goblins. Sorry, go
No,
on.
ahead. No, you just might notice why he has so many hang-ups around children now.
Yeah. Flavian, a number of goblins come up to you and clap you on the back, and like praise your skill in blowing shit up. I ain't never seen anything like that before, sir. You really got a gift, you do. And they start pressing you for ideas and sharing their own about destroying shit. So if there's any project you would like to have goblin aid with,
Okay.
I'll be honest, that is kind of what endeared Duck to Flavian initially. She's like, "Oh, this human's kind of crazy."
yeah,
Really good at blowing things up. Holy shit.
goblins in Midgeheiim canonically do love explosions and they do love gadgets, and Flavian's good with both.
Yeah, you should have
Yeah.
started. Maybe Duck has told us, like, you really should have started out in a goblin town than an orc town. Trying to start a business.
You would have done numbers.
Yeah, I got some ideas to share. Let me see. Let me check something quick. So this is a place where commerce is possible, so I can get trade points here, right?
Yes.
Okay, so do that. Yeah. So I've been thinking, like big booms and all that. They're pretty fun now. Got so many enemies that keep coming after us that I'm like, wouldn't it be nice to have a little buddy around us to help us out? That's what's got me thinking. Gotta make this little buddy. But a design just hasn't spoken to me yet,
Oh. And one of them's like, I've always wanted to design an automaton. They scurry off, many of them going to the shack of tricks and then coming out with various clockwork mechanisms. Not that you would call them clockwork, since clocks aren't super widely available at Midgeheiim at this period of time. They're more of a rich man's thing. But, they are essentially, things made of springs and gears, that have to be wound up to work. But they've got all these things, including things that work as, legs and stuff. Don't know how to make it wholly autonomous yet, because I'm not a wizard, but I think we can figure out some things for the basic structure.
Yeah. Leave the magical touch to me. I found recently that I have the gift. Yeah. A little bit anyway.
And so a bunch of goblins will help you start making your own little drone warfare automaton.
It's terrible.
Duck can help out by summoning a tiny demon to pilot it.
Or you could just make it have its own soul.
No.
Nothing fucked up about making a living thing whose whole job is to be a gun. That's what the Iron Giant told me.
Here's what we're gonna aim to build.
Ooh.
I have to read this
Gatling
comment.
Golem.
Liz was talking about imagining Flavian and Ross having goblin babies until I reminded her that Ross shouldn't have children of any kind because he's probably going to use them for free labor.
Oh my god.
Oh, shit. It's like, it's
That's
not
true.
wrong.
Ross might get some character development. We don't know.
No, we know he's not.
Yeah,
I've seen him now in Wizard School Mysteries, so I don't know.
God, that fucking comment took me out.
So we're gonna build the Gatling Golem, although I don't know what we'll headcanon it as instead of a golem. I don't know the design-wise yet.
Stone.
I do like Maple Samurai's suggestion of it looking somewhat like the Clockwork mech suit in Labyrinth.
Jeez.
Since there's not really guns yet, right?
No.
I'm just
And
picturing
there never will be in Midgeheim, except for that
Yeah.
one that inexplicably exists and no one knows what it is.
TT,
And we never
I want an
used
additional
it.
question about this. For the Gatling Golem,
Yeah.
oh, it'll be some sort of like, floating little helper thing. I still have the congealed red cat blood. Would it be possible if we add to the cost of building it to make its attack deal super effective damage to red caps?
Yes. Also,
Okay.
if you use that congealed red cat blood, it will make the process of turning this into a proper autonomous homunculus, or golem in this case, because I use homunculus where most fantasy settings use the word golem. So that would actually make it more feasible to get it to have a soul bond to it and give it autonomy.
Okay. Say
Because I think you said that the easiest way to create new life is to use a bit of life from something else.
Yeah, use the residue of past life. Like all homunculi require some level of corpse matter in them. Like even mudmen, the simplest homunculi to make, they need grave dirt and manure as part of their construction process. Because that the fact that substance came from something that was alive at one point, and was used in the process of life, makes the resulting homunculus more likely to have a new soul bond to it, to recognize it as a living being.
okay.
And then, vampire blood, in this case red cat blood, is already incredibly infused with that, spirit glue that binds souls to organic matter. So using the congealed red cat blood as part of the homunculus will make it much better at attracting and capturing a fresh soul to give this thing life.
Ooh. I suddenly have an idea then. Could Duck contribute that bloodstone that she stole from the...
If you'd like, that'd make one hell of a fucking golem, I'll tell you that much.
Wait, where's my equipment? Hold on. Because she stole, she soul stole that.
I feel like
Hell
this would raise the potency of it to extreme, so that's an extra 400 zenith for the cost. Makes sense to me.
But I'm gonna say, let's say it raised to extreme, but we're removing that 400 zenith cost because you're supplying the materials.
Okay.
You're not making this whole cloth. You're using some really potent shit you had on hand.
Okay.
Oh, what would be really funny? Since it's a Gatling golem, I figure it's like the auto crossbow from the Van Helsing movie. Instead, but we're going to the Briarwood. We could harvest a ton of briars to use as ammo for it.
Yeah.
Flechette launcher.
Yeah, those briars
Mistakes.
are been determined that they were really nasty bastards, right?
Yeah, because Duck had is one being used to make a rapier at Fort Morago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Which
effect
the other ingredient was the same red cat blood jelly that you're using for this golem.
So to summarize effect-wise, what this would do is it would do as like kind of description here, deals minor physical damage to a single target after Flavian's turn, and then also that damage would always be treated. A red cap would always be treated as vulnerable to the damage it inflicts.
Yes,
Okay.
that sounds fair to me.
Yeah. And then enemies can use
Nice.
opportunities to disable it. Yeah. So we're working away on that.
Excellent, and the goblins are helping you.
Yeah,
So is there
Duckwood.
enough goblins to do like the full progress then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, Duckwood. You contribute the Bloodstone and just be like, "Hey, Flavian is a great tinker. You'll all learn a lot from him." And
And
kinda
they
encourage
teach a
us.
lot in turn, and and as you're working with them, you realize you discover that the goblins actually do have a really good gift and mind and basis of learning about machining and gadgetry. There's a lot of goblin techniques and putting things together that you wouldn't have known otherwise. Often things that are very clever, even if they aren't the most aesthetically pleasing.
Duck was happy to finally use the chain chomp in the Valkyrie fight.
All right.
Art, how you feeling?
Art's just happy things are going as smooth as they are at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Having fun watching the people starting up a new, the beginnings of a funeral.
Beginnings of the funeral, but also seeing, hey, seems like that one orc that Grugan was fighting with are now at least on speaking terms, and Duck's doing well. And Flavian's off doing mad science somewhere. If anybody needs a depressed skeleton, he's there to help. But for the most part, he's just kind of like vibing.
Gross.
Ew.
One share, I'm sorry, but there are no corpses for you to stick inside your jar.
I'll never survive this injustice, TT. I want it to be known.
No, don't put the Grumboog in there. No.
No,
Yeah, it's like, what poison killed the Grumboog? Moncher already chewing. Tastes like prion disease.
To be fair, it does.
He also had a bad case of glaucoma.
That's good though. It gives the eye a nice tang.
Well, I guess if everything else fails, Moncher could always find employment as a murder investigator. He just needs a little nibble.
That's the plot of iZombie.
oh yeah, that's right.
At least until the show went really off the rails. But anyways, okay. If anyone wants to add to any bonds or whatnot, otherwise we'll finish this interlude and get on with the story.
Yes, I would like to have a bonding scene with Flavian.
Yes.
This will take place in the morning after everyone's rested or whatnot. And I think Flavian would find Reed. Duh has already woken up. Where did I place it? You early riser, Flavian?
can
Are
be.
you feeling?
Get working on his project, you know, so up and at him to help progress that forward.
Perhaps when you're taking a break to go clear your mind, you could find Reed in an isolated corner. Amidst the mists and coldest frosts, with stoutest wrists and loudest boast, and oh, Flavian.
What you up to over here, Reed?
Apologies, I was doing vocal exercises given to me by Ross Weber. I think it's panning out. I've been up all night.
Oh yeah, you're getting way easier to understand at this point.
Yes.
I've even heard a couple of them say you're easier to understand than me. I don't get that. Forget about it.
Well, you certainly have an interesting vernacular.
Interesting. It's everybody in Melonbury speaks my way.
You from Melonbury, then?
At least those of us that, you know, kind of a bit closer to understand the streets and the ways of the town and stuff.
Well, though he's a bit of a scoundrel, I think I'll have to thank Ross Weber for the vocal exercises.
Yeah, I suppose. But
How do you know
I
of
bet
him?
you could have found it for half price somewhere else.
You seem to have a history with this Ross Weber.
Yeah, you could say that. He was a little bit, you know, he's kind of ahead of me in this whole merchant game, so he kind of showed me the ropes and everything. You know, you need some investments early on, you know what I'm saying? Get things started.
Though clearly this relationship of yours soured.
Well, you know, it's the natural way of business. When your aim is to make all the money you can, the amount of money that you can make gets lesser when somebody else is trying to make it from that same crowd, you know?
Never much understood the whole pursuit of acquiring wealth. Seems to make men mean.
Yeah. Then again, you could say the same of other things like glory. Look at, my father. Sure, I'm sure everything he does comes with all sorts of wealth and everything, but that man's in it for the glory and his name. That's just as corrupt, that's just as corrosive as the worst of those who all just want gold.
You're not wrong. Though how does a merchant such as yourself come into such a band of warriors?
Yeah. Well, you know, it was actually kind of Ross's idea. He kind of told me, you know, that there was an untapped market with the fair folk in the country. So I took a shot at it, and it just so happened that I went to Skullcracken first. Yeah, it was... Maybe there were better first choices, but I feel like it sort of worked out. Sort of. Making money.
And is that what motivates you still? Profit?
Yeah. Of course.
That is
That's the
all.
whole point. That's why this war has to end. A war is not good for profit. A war is bad business. There is...
That is all. You are driven only for a desire for comfort.
Comfort is what matters in life, you know? It's what you gotta aim for. That's what the point of money is to become as comfortable as possible. The problem you see with wars is that to have a proper merchant system, you need rules in the land. Problem with wars, they take out all those rules. People disregard the ideas of supply and demand and just take because they're strong enough to do it. I don't want to live in a world like that.
Were you always wanting to be a merchant, or is this something Ross Weber convinced you into?
Yeah, there were some not great times growing up because of that. Because my ma and my grandpa, they weren't exactly the best at it. I mean, Ma was able to kind of get some places in life, but there's other reasons for that. But I guess if it put food on the table.
You're trying to have a conversation. Shut up.
You hear, cat?
Sorry.
But there are in fact several cats.
You gotta watch out for fairy cat. You gotta watch out for fairy cats.
I swear she
Cat
finds
cheese.
the most dramatic scene that is going on during any of the games, and she picks that time to walk in and start screaming.
Of course.
Oh my god, Maple, why would you say that? I went and looked at the chat.
I don't know what Maple's saying, but I 100% believe and approve of it.
Wait, method acting? No, Duck, don't mail your comrades condoms.
Oh
Oh no!
Jared Leto, burn in hell.
Yeah, I saw that comment, but I figured it could stay where it was.
I take back my words.
Anyway, sorry to break the dramatic moment.
Yeah, no, it just. So, do you believe this journey you've undertaken with this company has changed you at all, or you're just going to go right back to who you were?
Well, I certainly gotta say that it's changed me. I mean, starting to do things I didn't know I was capable of. All those things that I've been brewing. You know, Ross talked to me about the types of magic before. I'm trying to remember what it was called. I think it was something this class of magic was called. I didn't realize I had a talent for it, but it's escaping me. And yeah.
It appears that we, under pressure, are both transforming. Just a
Yeah,
fortnight
that's
ago,
true.
I would have thought it ridiculous to gallivant around the countryside, risking my neck to save the day.
Yeah. Well, you know, kind of have a pretty interesting story behind yourself too. Like, you know, you go by Sir Reed, but that's not really who you were originally at your core. So with all you're doing, isn't it a little bit of a shame that, you know, say we end this war and everything, all your deeds aren't really going to be credited to you. They're going to be credited to Sir Reed. Are you okay with just living his legacy rather than your own?
Well, the truth of it is I don't really have a name of my own. I was never bestowed such in the court. I live now as Sir Reed for my protection. Morrigal sure does love its knights more than it does its mudmen.
Yeah.
As you said, it is not the pursuit of glory that interests me. I think I am acclimating to this pivot Because, in a way, I'm still serving people. Just in a different fashion.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, suppose at the end of the day, good deeds are good deeds and all that. But you know, if you do want a name, I can always give you one.
And what would you call me, friend Flavian?
Huh. Well, to be honest, when you first spoke, I thought you said your name was Slurry, but I don't think that'd be a very good name.
No, I think people would get the wrong idea.
You know, I gotta think about this a little bit. Maybe do some crowdsourcing.
Slurpee.
But
Thank you, friend Flavian, for this conversation.
yes.
Though, my mind still lingers on Ross Weber.
Yeah.
Is he truly what everyone says he is?
A wizard?
No, of his character.
Yeah, I mean, certainly in it for the money, but, you know, me too. I wouldn't really classify him, you know, I think I can claim to have some noble intentions, can't I? I don't know if I could say the same of Ross, but, you know, I suppose Ross has his weird way of trying to actually be protective. See, I mean, you see, when he actually hid it from me, he found out first about who my real father was, but he didn't say anything about it to me at first. He lied to me about it. That's
So he was trying to protect you?
the first time I think I've ever heard. That was the first time I think I ever heard Ross lie for that reason. It's still strange.
Well,
Didn't think he had it in him.
Well, I may just be a homunculus, but I know this. No man is born who wants to be alone in this world. Perhaps that is why he took you under his wing. Perhaps that is why he tried to protect you in his own maladjusted way.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
I want to give
It's
him
still
the
weird.
benefit of the doubt next we meet, because if I'm able to change my nature, then maybe he can too. Perhaps we all can.
True.
Anyways, you should get back to whatever it is you're doing.
Ah, you're kind of the one that gave me the idea. I mean, you've been so useful to have around here, and so I was like, well, obviously there's a lot that went into making you that I don't think I'm capable of doing, but like, smaller version, you know, not something, obviously not to replace you or anything like that, you know, but like, it made me realize there's potential out there. So I thank you for that.
Oh, well, I'm flattered. Though I do ask you treat them with more courtesy than I received in the court.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I went that far. It shouldn't really be a living thing, should it? Should it? Wait. Uh-oh. What's gonna happen?
I may be made of mud and twigs, but there's nothing that thinks that isn't also alive. It may be a different sort of life than what you're used to, but believe me, we are just people enough that we fear dying.
Kind of a
Treat them well.
dark way to put it. But yes, for sure, for sure.
It may be dark by you may think it dark, but I think it's somewhat reassuring, and because what is to be mortal but to end? One day, not far away, of course.
Yeah.
Treat them well, build them strong, and I will gladly fight by their side.
That's perfect.
That's sweet. All right. Morning comes, and if there's no other scenes, you all say your goodbyes to the people at the stronghold. They have their marching orders as it. Yes.
I was just gonna say, I did want to change one of my bonds.
Oh yeah.
The one I have with Sir Reed, I'm changing mistrust to loyalty.
Good.
And yeah, Deck would have spent the night mostly talking with the leadership of the settlement, war discussions.
Yep. They're gonna redouble efforts. There's one of the things they're doing right now is scattering seeds and grains outside the walls, because one of the things that holds true for redcaps, every superstition about vampires holds true for redcaps. And that includes the fact that they have to count every seed grain that they see.
Oh yeah. Hey, Flavian. As we're leaving town and seeing them do that, Flavian, do you have a bag of ball bearings or just a bag of screws? Because that might be useful to keep in mind next time.
Oh, okay, I'll keep it in mind.
Or we have plenty of money. We could just toss down a bunch of our Zenit.
What did you just say?
Well, we would scoop it. We would scoop it up after we're done killing them.
What if they take some? What if that red cap thing takes it and they've got the whole big treasure hoard of money that they're just hoarding to themselves? What if that's the plan all along? To just steal all the world's money?
I think that's the Goblin Slayer's goal more than the red caps.
All I can imagine is Flavian's bond for Duck immediately changes from loyalty into mistrust.
To mistrust. Yeah, it's definitely the Flavian disproves appears in the corner of Duck's vision.
Reed comes up behind Flavian, pats him on the shoulder. Worry not, friend Flavian. That would just make the reward at the end of the road all the sweeter.
Long-term investment, eh? Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, sorry, this is random, but I was just looking at my inventory, and I realized I still have the Hocus from the Troll Village. You could put that on your golem.
Not sure what effect that would have.
Give
It
that
now
hat
has a hat with an eyeball on it. It would look stylish.
I'm kind of thinking the homunculus thing is like a clockwork bat, sort of,
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, I like.
with like a shooter to shoot out something.
Don't forget, we also have those orichalcum nuggets we got from the mine. That would be useful in making this too. Sorry,
Orichalcum is a very magic attuned metal.
I'm not trying to take over your project, Flavian. I like this kind of gameplay of making monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what mechanically the Orichalcum would add, other than just the process.
We can just say that it like I don't know if there's a failure chance for this like there is with ritual casting, but we'll say it would lower that.
Just say some of the Orichalcum went into building it.
Yeah.
I filled the progress.
All right. All right. So music on. Okay, you are making your way up through the Juravos Mountains to try and find one of this penultimate really really the final hidden boogeyman village on your list.
You also know there's a dragon around here somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Roll 20 won't be a little tuck.
Oh, okay, hold
There
on.
we
I gotta refresh it because it's like blinding me with.
There seems to be an incline over there.
I'll go check it out. What's the worst thing that I can do, die?
It would give us a better view.
I just realized Duck can't stand on Grugan's shoulders anymore because of
So
her
you're going
iron
up the
feet.
incline?
You can. He's got pauldrons on. Just make sure not to touch his neck.
I am checking out this line here on the ground in particular.
That's just a crack in the ground.
I'll come up the incline with you, Sir Reed.
Well, if, as walking off, well, if you're looking for a new perch, good duck, I could always broaden my shoulders enough. The benefits of a fluid anatomy.
You know, you would have made a very good thief. Be able to slip in anywhere.
I shall leave that to your expertise.
Yeah, Duck's just thinking to herself, if I have to go out a heist, I'm taking the boots off first.
They are.
Great question. Do
Yeah.
we want to do like a on the ground below and up on the sledge above, or are we just?
Do you want to split the party or not?
That's what I'm asking, more or less. Yeah.
A perfectly
Probably
valid
best is-
question to ask.
Probably best to stick together.
Aye. Lest we run into another one of those worms.
So you
Yeah, I don't want to see one of those.
start, moving your way up this ridge.
Do I recognize this place at all, or is this just nah?
You didn't travel in the mountains very much.
That's fair.
Certainly not by any hidden ways.
I see green.
At least we'll have a vantage point.
But also by that mark, anything down there can see us walking around up here.
But then they'd have to get up to us.
You see
We are
something's on
worried about a dragon. A good chunk of those fly.
You see, as you're on this raised part of the mountain, there is this huge log that leads to another raised part.
Sort of natural bridge.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you get closer to it, the natural bridge part seems less and less accurate. It does feel like it's sort of oddly perfectly sized to bridge the gap, and when you get real close to it, you see that there are, in fact, iron nails hammered into the underside of it through the stone.
And there's no corresponding stump.
Mm-hmm.
This is some good carpentry work. A firm bridge.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
Save some money, yes.
And as you approach the bridge, you see, shuffling slowly, on the ground below is a massive Catoblepas. Its head grinding against the ground as it slowly trudges forward, sniffing and occasionally grunting. Who here can speak monster?
I
I am
can't.
the Chimerist.
Yeah, you hear it grumbling. Food. Need food.
Does Duck know what Catoblepuses eat?
Anything they can get their mouth around. They are omnivorous, and they will devour anything they can get when they're hungry.
Duck's like, okay, big guy down there, very hungry.
It's a good thing we took the high road.
Yeah,
Oh.
I still got some Bork bites, I guess, if it tries to mess with us.
Would you guys like to make a group Dex plus Insight check to carefully sneak by the Catoblepas?
Oh boy.
Declare
Yes.
a leader, and every success will add to the leader's roll. And the difficulty of this is 14.
Who is the most dexterous of us?
I have a
So, my-
D10.
Yeah, my insight
Yeah.
is good, my deck sucks.
I have a D10 Insight and a D8 Dex.
They're both D10s for me.
Oh, then you should.
We should appoint the twink.
Mm-hmm.
Send
Wait
the
a sec,
engineer
you
to
guys
the-
want me to lead the way over this?
Yeah, you're the engineer. Judge the bridge.
You are the lightest of us, friend Flavian.
Monsieur,
Oh,
I could just fly across with Monsieur.
This is true.
It's,
So everyone's got to
Alright.
roll. Everyone who rolls a 10 or above adds 1 to whatever Flavian's total roll is.
and then I think we also add 3 for the high.
Sure.
Or we add the highest bond to with Flavian as well, I think.
Yeah.
Is the rolls.
So Dex plus Insight. Okay.
Oh,
dear.
Do you wanna?
Hey.
Do you wanna
Spend
invoke
some
a
points.
trait to? Do you wanna invoke a trait to re-roll that?
Yeah.
God damn.
Invoked.
It's a good check for Monsieur.
Yeah.
Just re-roll that completely.
I will allow it.
Although it makes sense, Monsieur would roll high on this. He could just float away from it.
So it looks like Sir Reed, Grugan, and Monshare all add 1 point apiece, so you get a +3 to this, eventually. To this reroll. Whatever it ends up being.
11.
Plus-
So that'd be
And then plus for the highest on bond, it's also an additional +3, so that'd be 14.
That'd be
Yay.
14 exactly! You guys managed to avoid the Catoblepas mini-boss fight!
Yippee!
Yay! So you get past this monster. It's the second time you guys have avoided a Catoblepas fight.
Oh,
And
I did
find
not do that.
yourselves in
Oh.
a village at the top of the mountain. A village made of oddly small structures, and when you see the inhabitants, you realize why. They're just a bunch of tiny bipedal lizards.
TT. Is this
I see.
Charmander heaven?
This is
yeah, these are all Charmanders.
I have to show this
There's
on
a-
stream because it's really fucking cute. Look at them.
There's a bunch of little lizards with tiny nubby horns and little fins where ears would be, and the tips of their tails seem to be... You can't quite make out what the tip actually is because it's on fire, but there does seem to be some sort of horn or spike at the tip of their tail.
I see what you meant by we're going to laugh at what you were making, and then like, oh, I get it now.
I think you're all gonna be delighted, is what I thought.
Yes.
I am delighted. I know what these are,
Let's-
like, out of character, but I don't know if Grugan would.
Yeah, speaking of, if anyone upon arriving to this village, the little things are chattering in draconic tongue, and Duck, oddly enough, even though you can understand draconic speech, you don't understand their draconic speech. Like, it's translating in your brain, but it's translating to a different wrong language. Or language you don't understand.
Huh.
They have, like, as draconic speech goes, they have a very odd accent, too.
Different dialect, I guess.
They notice you, and they don't, like, run away, but they regard you curiously, and they sort of chatter at you, trying to get you to talk. If anyone would like to make a double insight check, the difficulty of this is 12. Grugan and Duck will get a +2 to this for being Fey. Flavian gets a +4 for his merchant worldliness. And Moncher gets a +6 for being a Dragon Slayer. Sareed and Arthur, you don't get any bonuses, I apologize.
That's fine.
Makes
Okay,
sense.
double insight.
Yes, a double insight, and you gotta beat a 12.
Oh, I somehow rolled a 0.
I don't think that should be
'Cause
possible.
I
You
messed
added
up the-
+2 to the modifier, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that would be 8 + 2, so that'd be a 10.
Oh, whoops.
I just missed it.
Well, I'm gonna re-roll that 1.
Damn, Grugan, 17.
Yeah. He's good at inciting. The only thing he's better at is beating the shit out of things.
Okay. So Duck, Flavian, and Grugan all seem to have gotten it. Alright. Duck and Grugan, you have, you are aware of lots of different fairies, and there are, some varieties that are specific to different countries. And you have heard that there's only one type of dragon that is also a fairy. And that is what the Ruslovakians call an Aitvaris. Probably not pronouncing that correctly. But Aitvarises are classified by most as house spirits. They're fairies who, once a boogeyman has established that a village of humans is in a liminal space between fairyland and the mortal realm, house spirits enter into human houses and make certain parts of the house portals to fairyland, like under the bed or under the stove. And this is why often humans will lose things and just have no idea where they are because the fucking thing fell into fairyland. But in return, house spirits often, aid the people who live in the house that they're in. And Aitvaruses are classified as house spirits, although you would not know this in character, but out of character and out of game, Aitvaruses technically are boogeymen rather than true house spirits. Not that it matters. But they're almost exclusively found in Ruslovac. So it's odd to have a whole little town of them here in Frankane.
But in universe, so kobolds then are like dragon species specifically.
Kobolds. So Midgahheim takes the folklore approach of kobolds. So kobolds in folklore were not related to dragons at all. They were these sort of canine cave goblins. Like cobalt is actually a variation of the word kobold. So like kobolds were, these creatures that live in mines. And they're sometimes, mixed with Tommy knockers where you'll hear them like, knocking or picking at something, and that means that they're warning you there's a cave-in about to happen. So kobolds in Midgahheim are little subterranean dog people fairies.
Okay.
Whereas Aitvaruses are an actual folkloric fairy dragon from Slavic folklore.
I think I'm just getting Umlaut Shaw confused with his Conquering Worm incarnation then.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Which is
Now it makes
why in Wizards, not to toot my own horn or just go into this whole thing's masturbatory, fuck it. But Umont Schwa has a whole speech at the beginning of his introduction in Wizard School Mysteries where he says, technically, you could say I'm a kobold of accuracy because sometimes humans mislabeled kobolds as fairy dragons. And technically, you could say I'm an 8 Varus because that's what my species actually is. And technically, you could say I'm a gnome because I was adopted by gnomes. And because gnomes and kobolds and folklore have a lot of interlap. And technically, you could say I'm a high elf because I was then, given to a high elf clan. So I could be all of these things and none of these things. Actually classifying fairies in universe is difficult.
Mhm.
So yeah. So these are Aitvaruses. And now you realize, Duck, that as you're trying to translate the Draconic speech, that the accent you're hearing and the words you're hearing are Ruslovakian.
Oh. And Duck would look to the rest of the group because does anyone know any Ruslovakian?
Maybe. Perhaps they speak Frankish?
One of the little creatures, a really cute one with orange scales and a little yellow belly and dark blue eyes, skitters up and looks at you all and starts chirping and hissing and gurgling at you in its draconic speech, and waving its arms and trying to communicate as best it can without saying words that you can recognize.
Well, Duck has two things that talk and how they're on mind. So Duck will pull out the Maleficarum and the hat and be like, "Do either of you speak Ruslovaki?"
The Maleficarium's like, depends. Is it demon related?
No.
Put me away. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. Duck puts it away.
The hat's like, I speak Ruslovakian.
Okay. Do you speak Draconic Ruslovakian?
No.
Okay, then this will be a little more complicated than I was hoping. And Duck will, using the Hocus Intru, because I guess it has a name, try to translate.
Okay. The Hocus hears it, listens in, the creature gurgling, waits for a moment, and then says, in Ruslakian, do any of you speak human?
Oh God. I could have just done that.
The little Aitvarus stops and blinks, puts a little clawed hand on its chin thoughtfully, and then smiles and waves and runs off, turning its head around every now and then to expecting you to follow.
I'll follow it.
Are these things smaller than Duck even?
They are. They're like,
Oh, wow. Duck-sized?
The tallest ones are 3 feet tall.
Okay, yeah, because Duck's like a little bit over 3 feet tall, I think.
Yeah, they're tiny little guys. Most of them are probably closer to 2 feet. He chatters to these two, and this black Aitvarus with a blue underbelly steps forward.
Of course, it'd be
Hello.
Charizard X.
Hello, I am Megax. It says in very strained Frankish.
TT, your shit.
Hello, I am Megax.
Hello there, friend.
Welcome to village. Hon, hon, hon.
Oh God.
Trying its best to speak Frankish.
I mean, it's doing a good job.
Is there a fairyland language?
No, like, generally Fairyland is, like, the magic of Fairyland allows you all to speak, to understand each other very well, even if you're technically speaking different languages. When you're in Fairyland.
Yeah.
But you guys are in the mortal plane right now. So you're gonna have to do as best you can with mortal words.
Yeah, and I don't think Duck has the right type of rituals to be able to cast a translation spell. Because she has chimerism and entropism, which I don't think either of those would cover, like, translation.
What was
Anyways,
his name again?
Megax.
Mega X Charizard.
I know. I just wanted to make him say it again. Make them say it again, just so everybody sees what they're doing.
Okay, just to point out right now on the map, this one's Mega Charizard X, this one's normal Charizard, this one's Charmander. I gotta zoom in a little bit. This one's Sobble, this one's Trico, this one is Fuecoco.
Charmeleon.
This one's Charmeleon, this one is Snivy, and this one is Totodile.
Yay.
Can also be
Delightful.
Laggy from Monster Hunter. That one.
Yeah.
That was my first thought.
I can see it. But I was going specifically for Pokemon reference with their color schemes.
That one would make more sense.
Hello, Megax.
Hello. You are from below?
Below? Like below
Below
town?
Yes. Below mountain.
No.
Yes, we
We came from around it.
But also, like, physically, you are, below the peak of the mountain.
Yeah, I think he means like down slope.
Oh, then yes.
Duck would point in the direction and goes, "We come from Grumboog's home. I am New Grumboog."
He pauses and he squints and chatters in Draconic Ruslovakian to the others, and one of them says something that's, "Ah! Grimbolgi!
Oh yeah, I guess that would
We
be the
not
Russian version
meet
of that.
Grimbolgi."
I am
Grimbolgi good?
try to be. Good.
I just want to pick these things up and squeeze them.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
plush is fun.
I had so much fun designing them all last night.
I'll say, this is a quaint little settlement. Were
Yeah,
I
you
my
notice
original
that-
size, I
You
I'd
notice
love
that the
it here.
houses are really small, like, even for the Aitvaruses. Like, they don't need a whole lot of space.
Feels like we're in a doll house, like doll village, where
Which,
you like,
like,
a minute,
So,
Like a
sorry, but,
model.
like, it makes sense if you know that, like, house spirits tend to live, like, in tiny spaces under cupboards, or in closets, or under beds, or stoves.
Very efficient housemakers.
we come with warning of danger from Oh wait, intrude.
Megax's eyes go wide, and he looks alarmed, and the others immediately pick up on it, and some of them chatter, and he says something, he hisses something, and makes them all, like, settle down and stare with rapt attention. What? Danger! Ho ho ho.
Why
Like
ain't these
it's
guys
kinda-
just the cutest little things?
Yeah, Duck's trying to keep a straight face with that, trying to be diplomatic, not laugh at them.
They can laugh out of character. It's fine.
And kind of looks through the group. It's like, well, who wants to Whose turn is it to explain?
Whose turn is it?
Well,
We're taking polls.
Grugan will like kneel down so he's not fucking towering over these little guys, and he's gonna explain as gently as possible.
The whole situation.
Yeah, he's gonna start with, to begin with, I don't think you have much to worry about, but it's just a warning. It's only polite. And he'll
Not
explain that
paying
there's an army going after fairy folk and dragons, but we're trying to stop it from even getting in this deep into Frankane, but just be aware that it is a thing that is happening, and you should probably just watch out for that.
He nods and relays the information in summary to the two next to him who nod. And there is more danger.
Yeah, somebody else can... he looks around, he's like, can somebody else tell him about the other part of it?
The red caps.
Yeah, you know more about it, go for it.
Do you know of red caps? Would Duck know the Russian word or the Czechoslovakian word for vampire? Is that Strigoi?
Well, Strigoi are a specific type of vampire. But
Okay.
you would know how to like.
Oh, I'd
There
ask
is
Inchi
actually a
that.
specific name for Aitvarus redcaps. It's a Juod, Juod.
Ah, so Duck, after consulting with Inchu, would mention that. Use that word. See if they recognize it.
As soon as you say
Yeah.
that, not only do the three in front of you, but all of the villagers, reptiles don't pale the same way well, actually, no, they do. They go pale because lizards, when they're feeling less comfortable, that when they're overheated, they'll make their skin turn a paler shade. So yeah, they all go pale, ashen at the mention of the vampire that feeds on their kind specifically. And despite the fact that he is at most 3 feet tall, Magax stops, scratches their chin, considers this, and looks at you and says, "We must tell Queen."
Queen, here or elsewhere?
Queen below. And he points in the rough direction of the Briarwood.
We are going there as well. That was our next stop.
Then we have deal for you, ho ho ho.
Wait a minute.
and he
Wait a minute,
hisses
he's
the
literally
others,
speaking your language.
and a bunch of the Aitvaruses scatter and come back with a huge chest full of 10,000 Zenit worth of gemstones.
Holy shit.
Huh?
Literally speaking Flavian's language.
We have friendship with Queen. We give her tithes and she protect. You bring tithe down to Briar, he not eat you. Is good deal, ho ho ho.
Did he say that she won't eat us?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. I'd say that's a
Sounds like
pretty good deal.
Queen. Is she dragon
Big.
like him but big? Points to Monsieur.
They point to Monshera, and then he says, "Yes, yes, but big."
Oh, and then Duck points to the statue in the middle of town.
Bigger.
Oh.
But that is statue of her.
Oh, and Duck will pull out one of the scales from the dragon lair back door that we found. Scales like these?
And they all crowd around you to look at it, and Magax tenderly grips it, says, "Yes, yes," and he holds it close to his heart.
And Duck will hand that one off because she grabbed a couple.
The others all like pass it around and look at it, admiring it with pride.
They seem to hold this queen with great reverence.
I think it's the big dragon that we keep hearing about. The Dragon Queen.
Queen
So, Reed, have you met a dragon yet?
Aside from good Monsieur, no.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
From everything we've heard of her, this chest will go a long way into having her actually listen to us.
He
Oh,
nods.
she may just consider it being tied. I don't care. She may just consider this. Oh yeah, you're the messengers for the ties. Okay, where's your tribute?
You give her tithe, she listens to. Then we don't have to go to Briar and risk getting eaten. Ha ha ha. Good deal?
What dangers?
like
What other dangers lurk us in the briars?
Yeah, what would eat you?
He stops and tries to think. Big
Our guest?
hairy pig. Big hairy pig. Queen eats pigs. Pigs eat us. Don't like pigs.
Grugan looks a little hurt.
Not like you. 4 legs bad. 2 legs good.
Wow!
I can't believe you've done this.
Oh, I saw an opportunity and I took it.
Holy shit. Okay. Glad I could hand that one to you on a platter.
Yep. Oh, perfection.
Alright. Do any of us know or could guess about what they mean by that? Like, anything sound familiar about those?
One of the more common arcane beasts are what they call Sithonic boars. Just really big, nasty arcane boars.
Okay.
You know, like real wild boars, they are omnivores that will eat anything, and like real wild boars, they will gore the shit out of you. But unlike real wild boars, they get to like they you know how like there's like the biggest real life boar, you're like, holy fuck, that is a big pig. Now imagine something like twice that size.
Okay.
You know,
Like
the
Hercules
larger
task big.
the largest Sithonic boars are like King Kong sized boars.
Fuck yes. You fit
Now,
my
most of them
interest
don't get that big. Most of them get to what would be like the high end of real life boars in terms of size. But there are some that it's like, that thing is like 50 feet long.
Oh, yes, Horus.
That thing is old as hell, and it ate everything in its path to get that big.
So
Yeah.
this is the boss hog of the 30 to 50 feral hogs.
They're called Sithonic boars because in Mediterra, a lot of these boars frequented the entrances to the underworld. You know, they didn't go in, but they lurked about nearby and fed off of the things that, you know, went there. Like the Chromian sow and the Uromanthian boar and all that. So they're big, nasty hogs.
So
There's one of
one
those
could
that
say
was,
these are hell pigs.
Yeah. There's some feral ass hogs is what they are.
Alright, well, I got my AK-47. Well, okay. That seems like a good deal to me. We had to go through the Briarwood anyway.
Yeah.
I don't want to get eaten by a dragon. Pigs.
Speaking from personal experience, tribute goes a long way with smoothing negotiations.
And the Ivaruses all smile and cheer and clap, and Megax, extends his tiny little scaly hand to you. Good deal! Ho ho ho!
I'll shake it with probably just one finger.
He's got an oddly strong grip for a little guy.
Yeah, I've got 3 sausage fingers, so...
And there you are. So, your quest is to go down to the Briarwood with the tribute.
Gods, my wife would have loved those little guys. They were just the cutest things.
They are very nice.
If it wasn't rude to kidnap them and not take one home, I would take one home. But they are people, and that's kidnapping.
I don't think they take invites into the house very well. Please get off of me, both of you.
So this is the Briarwood.
You find yourself in a... The Briarwood is so named because it's not really made of trees. It's made out of briar bushes. They're just briar bushes that have grown to the size of trees. And big ones at that. Just these gnarled, curling, twisting, viney bushes covered in sharp thorns. Some of them so thick and tall that they blot out the sky. Have you ever seen Land Before Time and you remember that part where the 2 little baby dinosaurs are trying to escape Sharptooth and they run into that ludicrously enormous, maze of thorny vines that's somehow, big enough to keep a T-Rex out? It's like that.
The scariest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life. For some reason, yeah.
It's one of the most tense fucking scenes in a Don Bluth film, and that says a lot.
Yeah.
This is not a normal formation, although, as is the way of arcane flora, while the Briarwoods of Frankane are technically unique, seeds have been spread, and slowly they are growing in other parts of Midgahheim as well, and there will be a time when Briarwood forests are just another ecosystem.
I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having some very traumatic memories of bad garden times.
I've heard stories of this forest, but never thought I would venture there.
Yeah, it's not fun being back.
Of course, all of you would remember that the Briarwoods historically sprouted up as a part of the curse on Marion Bluch's house way back in the time of fairy tales. Just in case our audience forgot.
So you want to check that clearing up there? Or?
Might as well.
Yeah, you have currently come to a fork in the road. There's a way that goes up and a way that goes down.
Did Duck pass through the Briarwood when she was going to Leonis after leaving Grumboog?
Yeah, I think that would be the most logical way to go through. You didn't encounter any dragons there, but you probably did see at least a few Sithonic boars.
Yeah, Duck did not fight her way through. She snuck her way through.
So as you go up, there's a way up and a way to the left-hand side.
Which way from
Dense
here?
place this is.
No, if we go up and there's nothing that way, then we can come back down, go to the left, and if that's bad, we can go down to the bottom left. Do it all systematic-like. And then if we run into boars, we just smack them on the nose and tell them no. Might lose a
Okay,
hand,
we'll
but
talk to him.
A dense place this is. We could get lost in here.
Oh, very easily.
How did
I
you
did,
navigate
first
this
time
place
through.
before?
Believe it or not, luck. I thought I was gonna die here.
All right.
Nothing we could call upon then.
Are we
We
going
shall
up?
leave it to fate.
I guess.
Are we going up?
We're going.
sure.
I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so.
God damn, this is a big fucking place, right?
You're at the
You know-
bottom.
It would be really funny if we found the dragon on the first try.
Mm-hmm.
It would be pretty fucking hilarious. In, the way that it wouldn't be funny at all.
As you go through up through the briar woods, you notice that the briars around you get bigger and taller and thicker, and soon the sun is blotted out. And then the ground starts to rise up around you, and you realize that you're actually going into an immense burrow.
Careful.
As we're walking,
There's enough
he's just
space
gonna,
here for that giant pig.
As we're
You-
walking, he's just gonna side-eye art, like, this is real funny.
You note some very familiar claw marks in the soil. If Roll20 will let me actually unveil things.
Hey, look, don't look at me like that. Just because my wife was a dragon witch does not mean I have a knack for telling when dragons are around.
I knew it! I knew that this would be Maleficent colored.
Yeah.
It's her.
And resting on a massive pile of gold nuggets and ingots of silver and gems, so many gems, is an enormous purple-black dragon.
Get
And-
right up there, duck.
With smoke trailing from her nostrils, she lazily opens one green eye and says, "Well, little thieves, come to take the dragon's treasure. Did you think you'd find me asleep?"
You are the queen of the Briarwood, yes?
Oh, you know my title. Yes, I am Aud Legone, Queen of Briar. And who do I have the honor of addressing, little thief?
I am the new Grumboog Duck, and these are my allies and friends. Grugan, Art, Sir Reed, Monsieur, and Flavian.
Good manners. And what brings you to my lair, as if I did not know already?
Well, gestures to, I assume, Grugan and Reed, who are carrying the crate.
Yeah, we set it down, crack it open.
Tribute
They
from your
bring-
neighbors upwind.
Oh, the little chaps. And immediately, there's a moment of genuine warmth in her scaly reptilian features. They sent such beautiful gems this time. And she reaches out with a massive paw that's bigger than any of you, even you, Grugan, and
Oh, yeah.
grabs the chest and opens it and dumps its contents onto her treasure hoard, and then smooths it out so they look beautifully mixed in. The little darlings. But why did they send you and not come themselves?
Well, be in the neighborhood.
Part of it was they were worried about the boars. The other
Yes,
part
the
of it,
tasty bacon.
The bigger part of it is we have a warning for you. If you didn't already know about the Dragon Slayer army.
The fins where ears would be on her head flutter in anger as her big wings unfurl and flare up. A warning for me, an army of dragon slayers?
And
Are you
call them-
suggesting my greatness is being challenged?
The whole kingdom of Frankane is being challenged. They are the new goblin slayers from Bretonche, led by the son of Garston.
George II. He who is not worthy of the title of George.
Did you know George the First?
No. I had not for him. I have heard of his stories. We respect the first George. We respect others who have earned the title, but his spawn have not earned that respect. They are no true Georges.
Galen said Flavian.
What? His name is Flavian, not George.
Yeah. Flavian is too like looking up at the big old dragon and just be like,
I could take her.
In a fight, right?
Beat me to it by like 0.2 seconds, Shady.
Everybody was thinking it. Somebody was going to be the first to say it out loud.
He was going to be the first to climb that mountain.
Oh, God.
Explore that cavern.
No.
That's one of you guys. I've still got a wife to get back home to.
I'm married.
I'm married.
Reed would like to. He's going to take off the helmet, show he's not human. Just hold it underneath his arm. Your Majesty.
Yes, speak, knight.
We were just hoping to pass through your woods with your blessing.
She considers this. You have helped my little friends deliver their tithe unassaulted, and given me news of a great peril. You have my consent to walk my briar woods. So long as you don't take any of my treasure.
Please define what you consider to be your treasure, and we shall not touch it.
Her eyelids lower condescendingly, and she says, gold, silver, and gems.
Understood. Just wanted to know if you considered all of the forest your hoard, so to speak.
It is my territory, it is not my treasure. Although I do treasure it, it's... The words have different meaning in dragon speech. Human
sure they
tongues
do,
are
madam.
so limited. And yet inexplicably filled of rules.
Humans do
I know,
like
right?
those.
are you gonna tell her about the whole red cap stuff?
Oh,
You gotta whisper
yes.
to Flavian.
It's like, that is true, but it may not concern her overly much.
But it does
What was that?
concern her subjects.
Yeah, Reed just whispered to Flavian. It might not concern her very much, but we're still gonna tell it, of course.
I'm not sure of the good point.
Yeah.
There is, another matter to be discussed, Your Majesty.
Oh.
This army from Bretonche is not the only threat to the land. Redcaps have risen. They're trying to take advantage
Cocks her
of
head
this.
and looks around and is like, what do I care what color hats people wear?
Ah.
That is what we
Vampire
call-
fairies. The sort that would endanger your friends up the mountain.
Vampire, no. They would hurt my little friends, who bring me such valuable gems.
They aim to hurt all of us. They killed the last Grumboog just a day before, or 2 days. Don't know how
And the
many
king
years
of Nan Rouge.
I do not know what a Grumbouge or a Nan Rouge is, but they both sound delicious.
Uh-oh.
Fellow
She-
rulers of the realm.
Ah, yes. So they would be delicious. For the royalty of non-dragons do tend to be pampered and plush. Well marbled.
These are
They drank the king of Nain Rouge.
Drank?
they drink.
They
blood
don't
and-
care about. Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh. Oh yeah, I remember some vampires drink. That's scam.
She doesn't have the
Gross.
answer.
She doesn't have any idea what the fuck a vampire is. It's really funny.
She knows that vampires are like the living dead, but that's kind of where it goes.
Before we take our leave for you, I have but one favor to ask, Your Majesty.
You have been polite and referred to me with proper condescension, so I will hear your request.
We are under the belief that there is a fairy fort of sorts in your woods.
I think that was the little guy's place.
Yeah, but it is, yeah.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Withdrawn, retconned.
do have one request though, and that the briars would be ideal in fighting the vampires that try to eat us. Wooden stakes to the heart are one of the main ways to disable and kill them. Would you be okay if we sent people to gather up some briars to help defend ourselves, armoring ourselves with the great talons of your woods? We can spread them far and wide.
You can see her doing some mental math behind her green eyes.
And more visitors means possibly more tithes. Tribute.
Do like more time. You're not gonna take all the thorns, though, right?
Oh, no. We would not be able to.
I like them. I can throw people onto them, and then they squirm around for a bit before they go still.
I don't know why.
That makes
The
sense.
visual of Monshare just taking a big step back.
Oh no, Monshare is moving so he can better give her tribute once the conversation's done.
I know, but that's just what it felt. Look what it looked like.
Mhm.
Just
It was like, it felt more like Muncher going, ooh, where?
I mean, yeah, they'd be nice and pickled.
Oh man.
Sun-dried.
Fine, I will allow this. But do tell any that do this that they must bring me ties.
Of course. You may not know Nain Rouge, but you will be glad to know them because they are great smiths and workers of fine metals. Gestures to the horde. There was more than likely you have treasures from them already without even realizing.
Oh. Yes, this pleases the Queen quite greatly.
Oh. One moment. I must confer with my friends. And Duck just kind of turns and is like, huddle up real quick. I just had a very bad idea.
What exactly?
Should we give her the hocus? An advisor.
It has a 50-50 chance of just pissing her off after we leave.
Yeah.
She may be a woman who values her privacy.
I
Look
just
at-
feel really bad. He's been sitting in my bag this whole time with the book, and they don't really like each other, so I feel kind of bad for both of them.
It's true, they do hate each other.
That's fair. apologize for not being so chatty. I'm not sure if I think my wife invited her to the wedding. It's been bugging me this whole time, but I don't know how to ask politely, you know?
Oh, then, well, that gives me an out. So, we were just discussing, would you happen to have once attended a wedding in Bretance?
Or I shipped around. No. You can make a double insight check on that if you'd like.
Is this your in-law?
No, I wouldn't say in-law. Well,
Art, she's lying.
you sure it wasn't about 50, 60 years ago? Probably outside of Summerlee.
I have not attended any witches' weddings.
We didn't say which.
There was a witch.
Pretty sure you said witch.
Nope. Not to.
How would
not
I
to
even
disagree
know
with
how
you.
to transform myself into a human shape? I would need some outside assistance from a witch, which is why it would be a witch's wedding.
Just a very slow head turn to Art. Like, are you fucking serious?
I thought I recognized you. It was the eyes. It's me, Art Baker.
Oh. How's the missus?
Oh, I don't know. I've been dead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that next.
Yeah, died. Got resurrected. I'm on a holy quest sent by God to kill a bunch of evil Bretonnish folks.
See,
Figured
no
out-
offense. This is why I counseled her to settle down with that nice black dragon but longer lifespan.
No, absolutely fair. Still pissed off on the fact I bought the fucking blackmail. Should have just bet in their faces.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Wow. This is weird.
Absolutely.
Did you use that coat rack that I bought for the wedding gift, or
Oh, absolutely. Use the crap out of that thing.
you now remember this horrifying coat rack made of really jagged, sharp wood?
And Art used it every day because he's a good carpenter and
You had
recognizes
to be
quality
careful
work.
not to pierce your coats on it.
A
Oops.
little bit of sandy.
I only tore a coat like 6 times. It's fine. But no, it's good to see you again. Glad to see you doing well.
Yeah. Good to see you as well. Weird.
Oh no, absolutely weird. This whole thing's been like a trip to hell almost, but with the best of crew. Also, I have grandkids.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't as weird as meeting his grandkids.
Oh my
Your
gosh,
granddaughter.
she had kids and Oh, we should catch up.
You really
Aw.
should.
So you're like a vampire now?
No, I believe the technical term is a revenant. I don't know how pertinent this is.
No, that's a vampire. That's a type of vampire, I'm pretty sure. You're either a vampire or a ghost.
I think it's a ghost thing.
Okay, so you're okay.
He's a ghost possessing his old bones, I think. I think that's how it works.
Yeah. It's the old body. I gotta go wake up a bunch of dudes in a crypt down south. You know, save the most mortal day of Frankane's history and everything. Yada yada yada.
Good eating in crypts.
Looks to
Monsieur
Bonshare the
Knock.
corpse dragon.
Yeah, how's Mature feeling about this situation?
Wait, what? What?
I think he's still looking around to see where those corpses are pierced on these stones.
hmm
But no, good. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
You should go tell her hi. By the way, it's been a while.
Yeah, maybe when all this this Dragon Slayer stuff is over. Right now, it seems like I really gotta, buckle down and guard the fort.
Absolutely,
You can both
absolutely.
go.
We still haven't answered what happens when the whole thing ends, but it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for dropping by and giving this this tithe for my little buddies up there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
cutest little guys.
Oh, they're so sweet, so tiny. Pretty sure they're all crushing pretty hard.
Uh,
It
Not sure.
happens.
Not sure if it's crushing or godlike worship, but either way.
There's a
They did-
difference.
They did erect a most fetching statue in your likeness.
I should really go up there sometime and thank them, but who would watch the gold?
Tell you what, once this whole Dragon Slayer invading army thing's done, I'll come watch your gold. You go say hi, and then if I'm not a complete corpse, you could, if you don't mind me getting a ride to Summerlee, so I can rest in a proper spot. Appreciate it.
Yeah, if that's how it works out. Although generally, like when you're a ghost and you do your unfinished business, that's kind of it for you, isn't it?
They haven't given me much of a manual until recently, and I still don't trust the manual they gave me. So
Yeah, I think reads like stereo instructions.
exactly. Though I still don't know what a stereo is.
No one does.
Ah,
I
that
looked
makes
at
sense.
Flavian. It's like,
Could you perhaps construct some kind of concoction that would repulse the boars, that would allow our friends up the mountain to come down and visit? We don't have to do it now, but just keep that in mind.
Flavian?
Yeah.
That was to you.
Oh, it was so low. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear it.
Reed just brought up the idea of, maybe later you can come back and like whip up some kind of concoction that keeps away wild animals, so the little dragons can visit the queen.
Or repellent.
Or repellent.
I think she'd
Helicopter
share some of her
packs.
treasure if we did that. I don't know.
Don't push it.
No.
Don't push your luck, friend.
Dragon.
Don't push your luck, friend Flavian.
Yeah.
However, the little dragons themselves might be grateful for it.
Yeah, that's true. I think about it. I do a cost-benefit analysis because, like, what if she realizes that they have less to give to her because they gave me some?
Another time, then.
Yeah.
Turn back to the Queen of Briars. Well, we thank you for your magnanimity, Your Majesty. We shall take our leave.
Yes, of course.
Before we go, I'd like to leave tribute as thanks. And Montrair will put a stack of backpack, 6,600s in it,
Damn.
in her pile.
She looks at you, grins wickedly, scoops the gold into her pile. Thank you. And how are
Thank
you
you.
enjoying your dragon?
Well, I'm learning things. And being away from George II is very nice.
Cocks her head at that, intrigued. When this war is done, you should come visit me. It's not often to find one who has chosen to become dragon, much less succeeded at it.
It wasn't so much a choice as a circumstance.
Well, then to be blessed with dragon form by chance, all the more rare.
Indeed,
We have to discuss.
Indeed we do.
As everybody leaves, Grugan's also going to leave. Not as much, but pretty close. And he's going to look up at her and go, for the awkwardness, and he's gonna leave.
She thanks you with her eyes as she scoops that into her pile. And as you all leave, I assume you would, if you looked back, see that she is now carefully and meticulously placing things and massaging it, and you realize that the gold pile itself is not just a pile, but rather a specifically curated hoard.
An art piece.
As all dragon hoards are. And congrats. You entered into diplomatic relations with the Queen of Briars.
Yay.
And that is the end of my session's content. But before we go, a confirmation of where we're going next. We've gone through the Bramblewoods, and we have roughly 2 options to go. It seems like we're going to Brior Marsh next.
Seems like
Looking
it,
at
yeah.
the little line you guys have drawn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Problem gonna be.
Under the
no
Brior
problem's
Marsh
gonna
and
be there.
Betelebel.
Yay.
Woo! Dang, we didn't find a single boar.
We still have to wait though.
Stay.
I
in
didn't
chat
think it was
as we
gonna.
sign off. Sign off, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Alright. I want
Watch out
the
for
chat-
dragons.